Welcome to episode 164, Style Lessons Learned from New York. New York is one of the fashion capitals, and on my recent trip, there was no shortage of style inspo. New Yorkers are not afraid to take risks when it comes to their style, but they also understand that a no-nonsense approach is best for every day. Yet no matter how simple their style is, it's anything but boring. Here are the 7 lessons I learned from the chic women of the Big Apple. But first, is your style in need of a jumpstart? Then I have just the thing for you. Find Your Signature Style is my flagship course, and it is a culmination of everything I have been teaching my clients for 14 years. This course gives you exactly what you need to build the foundation for your style, to build your wardrobe, to learn how to love shopping, and to fall in love with your style. Whether you feel like you don't have a style, you've lost your style, or your style just needs a little bit of a jump start, this is exactly the course for you. Designed to give you all the elements you need in 3 simple steps. We make finding your style as easy as 1, 2, 3. Click the link in the show notes or go to findyoursignaturesstyle.com and get ready to rock your style today. Welcome to Style by Mary Michele, a podcast designed to empower you through personal style. I'm your host, Mary Michele Nidifer, a master style coach, founder of Style Finder Boutique, and creator of the Style Finder ID system. I'm here to help you know what to wear, how to wear it, and how to get dressed in 7 minutes or less. Let's go. Hello, gorgeous, and welcome back. I hope you're having a beautiful day. I'm sitting here drinking a wonderful cup of tea, which I usually am when I don't know why. I've started drinking a lot more tea lately, and when I sit and podcast, I like to have a cup with me. But speaking of tea, we just got back from New York City, and I don't know if you saw my post on Instagram, but I had the most wonderful afternoon tea at a great little tea house in Greenwich Village called Tea and Sympathy, and it was so much fun. I love an afternoon tea, and I'd seen someone post on social media about Tea and Sympathy and thought, I love the vibe. It's very low key, and it was way too much food. However, it was so good. And the day I had a reservation, I ended up leaving the apparel show a little bit early. Meredith and I had been shopping all day, and the apparel show was over at 6, but I had to bail about 4, which was fine because for the first day it was a little overwhelming. And I walked over, it was slightly rainy, and I thought, what a perfect day for tea. So I made my way over to the tea house, and it was just a beautiful walk. The experience was lovely. The food was good. I had little finger sandwiches and scones with clotted cream and strawberry jam. And I had some great tea. And I sat in the window, and it was so nice just to sit there and, before the windows fogged up, watch the world go by and just really watch New York City. It's been a little over 3 years since I've been in New York, and it felt good. But I had missed it a little bit, and it just, we got right back in the groove. We got up there, and Jim came up with me, Big Daddy, came up with me last Saturday, and we had just a great time exploring. We went on this fabulous jazz tour, and anyway, we love to travel, and we had such a great time together, and I cannot wait to do it again. But I've got several other trips coming up. My next big one is to Paris next month, which is hard to believe. At the end of March, I head out, and I am so excited. I think, I'll be there March into April, so I get to experience April in Paris. But I am so looking forward to it, and you guys are going to hear more about, my packing. I know I thought I was going to share more about behind the scenes packing for New York. And I'm going to be honest with you, I was really stressed out. And what was stressing me out the most was that the weather was so iffy. It was just back and forth. And honestly, I felt like every time I looked at the forecast, it was different. And at first I thought it was going to be really cold. And then I thought it was going to be a little warmer. And then it turns out it was cold, but it got kind of warm. So it was it was interesting. But what I learned are some tips that I'm going to share with you today. Now, I know I didn't do a lot of behind the scenes because, I mean, honestly, I was up until like the last minute packing. And once I did it, I probably overpacked by a couple of pieces, but I honestly was glad I took everything I did because there was some unexpected weather. And there were a few times where I was really glad I had brought something that I didn't think I actually would. And you guys may have heard me talk about my shoe situation. I did two things. I broke two style rules. My first one, I wore a brand new pair of boots. Yes, I wore them on the plane. I walked 13,000 steps the first day in them. I walked actually, I think I changed them the second day because I like to change things up. But my feet were fine. My feet were fine. And this just goes back to trust yourself. You know if you should do something or if you shouldn't do something. So my boots were fine. And I wore an off-white coat. And it wasn't like a bright white. It was a winter white, but I hate to describe it as looking dingy because I certainly don't think it did, but it wasn't like a vibrant white, and meaning it would not show everything. And I posted a couple of posts about packing ivory, taking ivory, and so many people said, don't do it. Well, ladies, there were a lot of people up there wearing ivory coats, not just me, and my coat was fine. So I was glad to stand out from the crowd because everybody was wearing black. Well, not everybody. I'm going to share a few things that I saw in a few minutes, but there was a lot of black. And I was glad to just not be wearing black all the time. I wore plenty of black, don't get me wrong, but I did change it up a little bit. So it was just so much fun. And go look at Instagram. I don't know I guess you can't really see my stories. I did post a lot of stories. And then we spent 3 days at the shows. Meredith and her husband came up. And we did our buying for fall. It's a challenge when it feels like winter outside and you're looking forward to spring, but fall is what we had on the brain. So I feel good about what we got, what we saw. There were a few things that I wish things had been a little bit different, but overall we saw so much goodness. Color, print, texture, pattern, a lot more pink. We're seeing a lot of pink. But it was so interesting to see what was within the four walls of the Javits Center and what was outside, because there was a big, big, big difference. There was just a big gap between what was being shown and what was actually being worn. And I'm going to talk about what I saw and some lessons that I learned. But before we dive in, I want to share with you a podcast review. Now, I don't know if you know, it's a little too late now. However, I did run a contest at the end of February and asking for listeners to leave a review. Now, it's never too late to leave a review. However, the contest did end on February 28th, and I gave away some Style Finder card cash. You can look at the Style by Mary and Michele podcast group to see who the winners were. But I love this review, and I thought it was very appropriate for what we're talking about today. But Donna DeSarno says, game changer. I listen to every podcast with a notebook and pen to write down Mary Michele's tips. Since joining the Facebook community and doing 2 teal box orders, my style has changed and improved. It's so much easier to get dressed, and I feel like a more savvy shopper. Social media is full of people trying to sell products, but Mary Michele and her team encourage you to buy what's right for you. Donna, thank you so much. I love this. Now, let me explain this a little bit. First of all, if you don't know what a teal box is our virtual styling service at my boutique, Style Finder. And we do it, it's only available in the US. However, it is a great way to get shopping done for you at an incredible cost. So if you're interested in that, you can take a peek at Shop Style Finder and find out more details about that. Now, I love what Donna said about a lot of people trying to sell you products. And I've been a style coach for going into my 15th year. And I tell you what, I don't sell anything I don't believe in. and I don't create anything I don't believe in, and that I haven't done myself or seen my clients do 1,000,001 times. And I'm going to share with you that today is February 28th. If you're listening to this on the 28th, then today is the very last day to grab our flagship course, How to Find Your Signature Style, for just $47. We are raising the price on March 1st. It's been $47 since we launched it. And we did that with a goal in mind to really reach more women. But it has become clear that it is time to raise the price. And we will be offering a lot more products very, very soon. In fact, stay tuned, because shortly, very, very soon, I'm going to be revealing the details for my wardrobe update. This is a spring, summer, basically a style refresher, if you will. But it is what I have taken my private clients through for years to help them get their wardrobes ready for the coming season. And I am offering this in a virtual group format. I do not have all the details to give to you yet. However, if you know you want to get in on this, then I want you to come over to Instagram at Style by Mary Michele and send me a DM and just say spring. I will put you on the list. You will be first to know, because this is going to be a game changer. It is going to help set you up for success. And even though the focus is for spring, it's really going to help you jumpstart your style wherever you are. And what I highly recommend is, if you want to do this course, I would say, although I'm not requiring it, I would say the prerequisite would be how to find your signature style. So go take that for $47, and then keep an eye out for my seasonal wardrobe update, because you don't want to miss out on this. It is going to be literally worth its weight in gold. It will save you so much money, because you know what happens? All of a sudden, you're going along wearing the same old thing, and then the weather turns and you hit the panic button. Oh my gosh, I need new clothes. I don't know what to wear. I don't know what to buy. And so you buy more stuff than you need. You buy things you don't even like. You don't end up wearing, and you waste a lot of money. I have been there and done that too. But this is what women have told me for years happens. And I want you to get off the hamster wheel. So I'm going to be offering this for a limited time. It is something we're going to do together. It is done with you, and it is virtual. So wherever you are in the world, come join us when this is released. And I'm going to be announcing some other things too. So I want you to pay close attention to my Instagram posts and stories. And if you're not on our email list at Shop Style Finder, go get on the list, because you guys our list really gets all the details spelled out and gets things really in an easy format. So go get on our list, our email list at shopstylefinder.com, and go send me a message on Instagram at Style by Mary Michele, and just say spring. And I'll put you on the list. I'll let you know when we release this, because it's coming very soon. You know, tomorrow is March 1st, which is hard to believe. And so this past weekend, actually, we drove down to Pinehurst and had lunch with my mom and my sister, and got to see my stepbrother and his son, and my brother was there, and just got to see, spend a little bit of time with family. And we were cracking up because my mom kept saying it's false spring. And I agree. I've seen this post floating around on Instagram. I think it's about the 9 seasons of the South, and we're in fall spring right now. So as I'm looking out the window, it's about 50 some odd degrees Fahrenheit. It's cloudy. It looks like winter. But Friday, Thursday, Friday, it was 85 degrees. Actually, it was really crazy, because I think Thursday, when I looked at the weather, it was 38 degrees where we were in New York, and it was 77 degrees back home. So just to give you a little bit of insight into why I had such a hard time getting dressed or packing for my trip. So, all right, let's dive in. I've got 7 style lessons that I learned in New York. Now, some of these are lessons that I have taught for years, but I spent a lot of time looking at what women on the streets were wearing, what women at the shows were wearing. So I saw the average New Yorker as well as the fashionista New Yorker. And it was really all over the map. Although in a lot of ways, I saw some things that were very common, very similar, I started to see patterns. I look for patterns, I love that. And I did an Instagram live the other day, and I was talking about, just wondering, is fashion getting more homogeneous? And I think in a lot of ways, because we are all on social media, I think in some ways it is more homogeneous. There is very little delineation between what somebody wears in Raleigh versus what somebody wears in New York versus what somebody wears in Paris. Now there is a difference. I'm not saying there's not, but I think the gap is not quite as vast as it used to be. And I had so many people come up to me in New York City and ask me for directions. I'm like, oh, I guess I look like a New Yorker. So, and I thought that was interesting because when I was in Paris, I had people come up to me and ask me for directions. I'm like, guess I look like a local. I don't know. I'm just me. I'm not trying to fit in. I'm just doing my thing. But anyway, I just thought that was fascinating. So my top 7 style lessons learned from New York. The first one. Now, this is a tenet that I have taught literally since day one, and it has changed everything for me and for my clients. Build a core wardrobe. A core wardrobe. Now, I have a whole podcast. I'll put a link in the show notes about core items and what those are. And when you have a core wardrobe, what that means is that you have the basics to fall back on. You have taken time to carefully cultivate a core wardrobe. Now, that doesn't mean that you just wear your black pants every day or you wear your jeans every day. It means that you have core pieces that are least memorable, most neutral, that can mix and match and go together very well. New Yorkers, a lot of them invest in timeless pieces. And honestly, I would say the most stylish women worldwide do this. This is not specific to New York. This is everywhere. When you build a core wardrobe and you invest in timeless pieces, that is where you get the most bang for your buck. That is where you can walk into your closet and there are always going to be pieces in there that fit you, flatter you, that you love to wear, and you don't mind spending a little bit more money on them because of that reason. Now, I've talked so many times about, how women have gone cheap, and I'm not saying there is not a place in your wardrobe for inexpensive items, but that's not what you want to build on. It's like a house of cards. It looks like it's got substance, but then it doesn't last. And you go to wear it, well, it's ripped, it's pilled, it's shrunk, it doesn't work, it doesn't look right, it doesn't fit well. Something changed. And when you invest in good quality, now money does not always equate with quality. Sometimes you're paying for the brand and the marketing or the celebrity endorsement. But when you invest in quality and you can rely on that over and over and over again, that's where you can trust your wardrobe. You can trust your clothes. You can rely on your clothes. And that's really the basis for getting dressed effortlessly. My lesson number 2, a neutral color palette. I'm going to be honest with you, ladies. I did see a lot of black, but you know what else I saw a lot of? Sienna. And I'm calling it sienna. It could also be called mahogany, or it was a very warm, rich brown color. And oh my gosh, I wish I had taken pictures. There were so many people wearing this color in a beautiful way. I saw a lot of coats this color, maxi coats. Saw a lot of maxi coats. I want a maxi coat so bad. I cannot find one that I want. But I saw a lot of maxi coats. I saw this one woman, she was African American, and she had this beautiful sort of rich chocolate colored skin tone that was warm. And then she had on a matching turtleneck and an overcoat or a maxi coat. And it was in the sienna color, and it tied in so beautifully with her skin tone. It was, oh my God, it was gorgeous. And then she wore it with basic jeans, simple loafers, and it just looked fantastic. It was very neutral. It was very subtle. It was very understated. And I think, I've talked so much about matching your top with your jacket. When you do that, it just creates this richness. And it's just like this neutral backdrop, but it looked so good on her. But I also saw a lot of ivory, surprisingly. And I know women commented on my post and they said, don't wear your white sneakers, don't wear your white sweater, don't wear your white jacket. I did. And I'm glad I did. I saw so much ivory coats, ivory sweaters, ivory boots, ivory hats. Of course, white sneakers. I wore my white sneakers. And it was a little bit of a clean look. And I think when you have so much gray and it was so overcast, and New York was a little bit dingy, I think it was just this really nice pop. But when you build your wardrobe on a neutral color palette, or at least your core wardrobe on a neutral color palette, then you can bring in hints of color, pops of color. It also helps you to create more of a capsule when you have a neutral, timeless capsule. I'm not going to tell you what pieces to buy because that's up to you. That is all individual. I don't want to say everybody must have because I don't want everybody to have the same thing. But when you find the pieces that work for you, that are timeless, that are in a neutral color palette, chances are if you're buying all neutrals, they're going to mix and match. Now, I have also talked about having a wardrobe that has too many neutrals or too many solids. It can start to look boring. And so this is where you can bring in some other looks. Number 3, have a signature style. Ladies, I have talked about this since day one of being a style coach, because when you have a signature style, that means that you know what your style is. Your style is not changing based on the whims of what you're seeing. It's not changing based on anything external except the weather. The only thing you want to think about is, the weather and the seasons and your location. But your style is your style. And so, sure, you're going to express it differently. I express my style very differently in spring and summer than I do in fall and winter. Fall and winter, it's all about bundling up and coats and layers and boots. Spring and summer roll around and I'm all about floaty fabrics and sandals. But I have a signature style. I'm not all over the map. And when you have a signature style, even if it's simple, if it's understated, maybe your signature style involves athleisure wear or sneakers or simple neutrals. It doesn't matter what it is. But when you have that signature style, whether it's understated and classic, or whether it's bold and funky and dramatic, or contemporary or trendy, whatever it is, having that signature style builds your confidence. It helps you to stand out. I had quite a few compliments in New York, which I thought, wow, that to me, especially on a day where I had on some really chic joggers. I had on my fabulous sneakers. I had on my ivory and white layers together. And I had several people compliment my outfit or certain pieces of my outfit a couple of different times under a couple of different days. And I thought, wow, when you get complimented in New York, I really take it as a compliment because, there's a lot of great style in New York. But having a signature style means that you're just expressing yourself in a way that's comfortable to you. And I will be honest and say, having your own signature style, knowing what that is, will save you so much money. It will save you frustration. It will save you time. And if you're sitting here telling me, hey, I don't have a style, I don't need to have a style. Yes, you do have a style. You just don't know what it is. And when you can tap into that, that really is the secret power of style. And it helps you to be more of who you are. It helps you to express yourself more fully. It helps you to show up on purpose. It helps you to be intentional, but it also saves you a lot of money because, when you walk into a store and you don't know what you want, anything's an option. And then you just start buying stuff. You're like, well, I should buy this, or I guess I should buy this, or, I saw somebody wearing that last week. I guess I should have one of those. You don't know. You're just shooting in the dark. But when you have a signature style, you can say, nope, nope, nope. Yes, going for that. I know what's right for me. I know what works in my wardrobe. I know what's going to fit me, flatter me, what colors to wear. And I know what's going to make me feel more like me. Now, I have to say, if you want to find out what your style is, today is the day to do it. Go take our course, How to Find Your Signature Style. If you're listening to this on the 28th of February, then it is the last day to get it for $47. So go grab it. And if you miss the deadline, it is still a great investment. You want this knowledge. This is the fundamentals. The fundamentals. You'll understand your signature colors, or 2 or 3 of your signature colors. You'll understand your signature silhouettes and your body type, and you'll understand what your style is. And when you have those 3, that's the foundation. That's what you build on. And if you don't have that, then you don't have anything to build on. So go grab that if you have not already. All right, number 4, experiment with your self-expression. This is where you're never done. You're never done when it comes to your style. And I encourage you, if you feel like, well, I already have my style. I found my style. I'm good. And you might be loving what you're wearing right now, but what about when the weather changes, or 6 months from now, or 2 months from now? Always be tweaking. That's what I like to say. Always be tweaking and be open to experimenting. I love getting on social media and watching some of these influencers or being out on the streets and seeing women wear new color combinations or new ways to pair colors or something that's new and different, because I don't know, that just excites me. But it also gives me style inspo. And then I come back and say, how could I wear that in my wardrobe? And maybe the total look isn't right for me, but well, how could I wear that? And that's the question. I've talked about that before. That's the question I ask myself to really figure out how to express myself in a way that's right for me. How could I wear this? How can I wear it? And when I do that, then I'm like, well, what if I did this? What if I did this? And what if I layered this up? And I've come up with a lot of great combinations just by saying, how could I? Well, let me figure this out. But what I saw in New York, I saw some really interesting looks. I remember being at the Javits Center on the first day, and I saw this woman, and first of all, comfort aside, she looked fantastic. But she was wearing lime green kitten heels with camo pants, and then she had on a great jacket. And it was very subtle, but it was just this slight pop of color, unexpected, and it looked great. But of course, my first thought is, girl, how are you going to walk the streets in those shoes? Because they did not look that comfortable. So I don't know if she planned to do any walking, but anyway, but that was her expressing her own style. I am not recommending that you go out and rock lime green kitten heels if that's not your style. But if it is, well, maybe you want to give it a shot. But experiment with the expression, and it could be as subtle as a pop of color. We've been seeing a lot of pops of red, as in a red handbag or a pair of red shoes, something very subtle. It's not overt. It's not a full-on outfit, but it's very subtle and understated. Maybe it's just a red lip or a different lipstick or a different nail color or something that's going to make you feel more like yourself. Maybe you layer your jewelry. Maybe you mix things in new and different ways. But when you're open to experimentation, it keeps your look fresh. Now, the other thing that keeps your look fresh is number 5, embracing the trends. Now, I am not going to sit here and say that you have to have a core wardrobe and then you have to overhaul it every season to include the trends. What I am going to say is that when you keep up with what the trends are, even if it's just what the hot color trends are, this is where you can bring in just a hint. Maybe it's as simple as wearing a new type of white sneaker. Now, I'll be honest, I bought some white New Balance sneakers recently because I heard they were on trend. And I don't know, I'm not a trendy person, and I rarely wear things that are trendy. But those really stood out to me. I didn't really buy them because they were on trend. I really bought them because I love them. There are a lot of things that are on trend that I will not wear because I don't love them. But I love those, and I've been wearing those a lot, and they're so dang comfortable. But when you can embrace the trends, it keeps your look fresh. It gives it that edge. It's like, ooh, okay, I'm not falling into a rut. I'm like right on style. It keeps you connected to your style. It keeps you connected with what's in style right now and keeps you feeling like you still have style. You haven't fallen into a rut. You're keeping up with things, even if it's a simple pop of color, if it's a simple type of shoe, a new coat, a new way to layer things. It could be as simple and understated or as bold and overt as you like. But when you can at least pay attention to the trends, and this is a heads up, I'm going to be sharing some resources very, very soon to help you keep up with the trends. Number 6, you want to layer your looks. Oh my gosh, ladies, layers saved me in New York. There is no way I would have survived if I did not wear layers. Because you're indoors, you're outdoors. And in New York, we were walking a lot. I mean, we ranged anywhere between 13,000 and 16,000 steps a day. And we were outside for a lot of it. And being outside, I had to have my hat on, I had my scarf, I had usually a t-shirt or a tank, and then a sweater, and then a jacket, and then my coat. And I'm so glad that I had those layers. And then the coat, I found myself actually, you see so many women on social media draping their coats around their shoulders. And I personally love that look. But I started thinking, how practical is that? I mean, sure, maybe around Raleigh, like you're walking into a restaurant or something, no big deal. But when you're really out on the streets or out there living your life, how practical is that? Turns out it's very practical. Because what I loved, I had this great, beautiful off-white wool coat. There were several times where I would take it off and I would just drape it around my shoulders because I got hot. And I don't know, at this age, when I get hot, I do not want to be hot. I am uncomfortable. So it helped to be able to take the jacket off, take the sweater off. One day we walked to the Javits Center. I had on my mock turtleneck and I totally swapped it out. I had that on underneath the sweater. So I took off the sweater, took off the mock turtleneck, put on a tank top, and then put my jacket on over the tank and then draped the sweater around my shoulders. And then I just put the turtleneck in my bag. It was thin enough. It was very, very thin. And it was a good layer when it was windy and cold outside, but I did not want to wear that thing indoors. So I did a couple of quick changes and I was glad I did because it helped me to stay comfortable, especially, when you're walking around, you're looking at clothes, you don't want to be uncomfortable because if you are, you will not have the stamina to sit there and look at a line and to be thoughtful and meaningful and write something that's going to make sense. You're going to be uncomfortable. And, like they say, don't go shopping when you're hungry because you're going to buy everything. It's going to influence your buying decisions. Well, don't go buying clothes when you're uncomfortable because that could also influence your buying decisions. And number 7, comfortable footwear is key. Other than the woman wearing the lime green kitten heels, I would say 99% of the people that I saw in New York were wearing comfortable shoes, whether it was low-heeled loafers, whether it was wedges, whether it was boots, whether it was sneakers. It was predominantly sneakers with some boots thrown in. Comfort is key when it comes to your footwear. And that was me. I had my comfortable boots. I had a little bit of a wedge. I had my New Balance sneakers, and I was good to go. And so comfortable footwear is a non-negotiable, in my opinion. Now, I know some of you have different needs, different desires, and that's totally fine. But I've talked before about how I feel about heels. And, if you put on heels and they're so uncomfortable, or you risk stepping into a grate over the subway, or you risk tripping on a curb. I've actually been in New York before where I had on these Kenneth Cole black wedge platform shoes. I loved those shoes. But when I would be walking along, sometimes my ankle would turn, and it could have resulted in me falling and breaking something. Fortunately, it did not. This was many, many, many years ago, one of my very first trips, before I knew better. And I remember that, and I don't know what I was thinking. But now, comfort is key when it comes to footwear. So sneakers are hot, and if you choose not to wear sneakers, the cool thing is there's so many comfortable shoes out there that are chic, that are fashionable. You do not have to sacrifice comfort for style, which is a wonderful thing. All right, let's go back through those. So my style lessons learned from New York. Number 1, build a core wardrobe. Number 2, create a neutral color palette. Number 3, have a signature style. Number 4, experiment with your self-expression. Number 5, embrace the trends. Number 6, layer your looks. And number 7, comfortable footwear is key. Ladies, I hope you love this episode. And I think these are lessons that we can all bring into our wardrobes to help us keep up with our style. I encourage you, if you have not yet taken How to Find Your Signature Style, our flagship course, go grab that for $47. Today is the last day for that great price. It will be going up, and I'm not going to tell you how much it's going to be, but you are going to be disappointed if you did not get it at the $47 price. And there's also a great VIP upgrade, which gives you access to a style coach. So come join us in the VIP. We've got some amazing women over there. We have so much fun. Also, come join us over in the Style by Mary Michele Facebook group. We've had so many great new members. I've been posting some downloads and just really keeping you guys up on all the good content. So I've shown some great videos. I know last week we talked a lot about wearing navy, and I posted all sorts of goodies about that. So you can still go grab the PDF download, and the top 10 top 10 biggest closet offenders download is still there. So if you missed out, come grab that and stay up to date on all the new offerings that are coming in the pipeline, including our wardrobe update course. All right, ladies, have a beautiful day. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you on the next episode. Thanks for tuning in to Style by Mary Michele, where women come to get dressed in 7 minutes or less. If you enjoyed this podcast, I invite you to leave me a 5-star review on iTunes or wherever you're listening. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at Style by Mary Michele, and shop our boutique at shopstylefinder.com for the best in upscale casual apparel. Better yet, if you're in the Raleigh area, come see us. We're located in the North Hills Shopping Center, the premier shopping district in Midtown Raleigh. For details and links mentioned in this episode, be sure to see the show notes. Have a beautiful week.